shock horror. Camilla Tominey says the truth about the Thomas Markle and Meghan's situation. She rightfully blames Thomas Markle for everything that he's been doing against Meghan. Wow, has she changed? Has she turned a new leaf? Has she suddenly just seen the truth now? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Dami Ann, and of course I've not changed. Before we get into today's topic, please like, please subscribe, please share this video, because I'm here to debunk the lies around Meghan and to diffuse the negativity with some positivity and generally basically defend all things Meghan. So let's get into it. There's this clip of Camilla Tominey talking about Thomas Markle. Let's watch it.
That I have become more sympathetic with Meghan over the weekend.
Yes.
Having read on the front page of the Mail on Sunday, her father's, Thomas Markle's, plea to see his daughter after he had a leg amputated. It was made very clear that Thomas Markle was going to walk his daughter down the aisle. She had spent a great deal of her teenage life living with him, not with her mother Doria. Obviously, we then have that whole hullabaloo where he's being measured up for suits, and it's in the Mail on Sunday. He's been papped, and they feel that he's sold out. And then he has a heart problem, and he's suddenly in hospital, and then he can't come to the wedding, and she has to ask the king to walk her down the aisle. And I did get told at the time, this couple, on the brink of the second biggest royal wedding of this century, were nearly having a nervous breakdown and in tears most of the time, okay? So they had a horrible, horrible experience. And at the time I thought, who is this Thomas Markle? Is he just a bit misguided? He kept on being packed with like a six-pack and a burger. And I just thought, look, maybe he's on his downers. But then he kept on speaking more and more and more to the press, to the point that we're now in a situation where he's literally just had his leg amputated. And the first person he wants to call is Caroline Graham, a reporter on the Mail on Sunday. They featured on Sunday the exchange of text messages between them. They're in the hospital room. He's then trying to communicate with Meghan via that newspaper that the couple hate. They don't like the Mail group because of everything that they've written about them. Try to take them to court on numerous occasions.
And this is a man, I should also add, who's been living in the Philippines for a year.
Yeah.
And poor Meghan didn't even know which hospital he was in, so took to ringing around all the hospitals in that area in a bid to get in touch with him.
Wow, shock horror. Camilla T, whose hashtag on Twitter is Camilla Tominey is a liar, says the truth for once. Thomas Markle clearly isn't doing himself any favours, contacting Mail on Sunday's journalist, reporter Caroline Graham about his amputation. Literally contacting Caroline Graham first before contacting his kids, Samantha and Thomas. Even if he doesn't contact Meghan, we can understand why. So she rightfully said that. But what I want to say about that clip is the fact that before she started to talk about Thomas Markle, this was the topic.
But why am I more sympathetic than I was towards Harry and Meghan? Given the sheer amount of money currently flooding in from the Crown lands, can a bit of it not be spared for Harry and Meghan? The interviews we've done regarding Andrew and Fergie, the way in which they have lived in that magnificent big house for so long,
Yes.
again, it raises the questions, why are they given carte blanche? And for a long time, he was disgraced because of his Epstein links for a long time.
Yeah.
This did not happen overnight. For a long time, he was kept going by the royals until very recently. So I have to ask the question, why is that kind of tolerance not shown towards Harry and Meghan?
So her co-presenter were clearly calling out the royal family's treatment of Andrew, comparing it to how they've treated Harry. So to deflect from talking about Andrew, she starts to talk about Thomas Markle and how she feels sorry for Meghan. I see through it. I had to go and watch the entire interview because I could not believe my eyes when I saw the clip of her saying, oh, I understand Meghan and blah, blah, blah. I just had to see the entire interview for myself. I hate giving those people views, but hey. So it wasn't from the goodness of her heart because, she suddenly become a truth bearer that for once she decided to say the truth. So after saying that, she goes on to Thomas Markle and rightfully calls him out. And then she talks about Samantha and Thomas Jr.
We're also making judgments about her and her lack of contact with her father. Then we've had her half-siblings, Thomas Markle and Samantha. They've sold stories. They've gone on the telly absolutely roasting Meghan, criticising her. So if you were the Duchess of Sussex, you might be wary of trying to get back in contact.
Her half siblings have been the worst trolls. They've lied with the worst, most dangerous, derangers. They have YouTube channels where they say the vilest, worst things about her. Some of those things, most of those things don't bear repeating. I'm not going to repeat them. So her half siblings have been vile towards her. And so Camilla says, why would anybody want to be in contact with them? Why would you want to talk to them? Why would Meghan want to talk to them? So these reporters, Camilla T, and these British press tabloids, Royal Rota, they know the truth of the situation. They know exactly what's going on. They understand it. They just have this vendetta, this war, this campaign against Meghan, but they know the truth in their hearts. And sometimes, once in a while, very, very rarely, they would let the truth out. How Thomas Markle didn't do himself any favours, talking to Mail Online and having them on speed dial. How Samantha and Thomas Jr. keep saying the vilest, worst things about their house sister Meghan. They know it. And then how family members are the ones who literally sell out their family members to the press. So they know, she knows. So that's why I will not, and will never clap for people like Camilla T and people like her co-presenter when they looks like they're saying the truth or they're being sympathetic to Meghan, because truly deep down in their hearts they still find ways. That interview was full of snark, and they even ended it on this note.
Having said all of that and expressed all that sympathy, I feel they could have walked away from this with a little more dignity.
Yes.
I don't think it had to explode, and I don't think it had to have all that Californian nonsense about I felt endangered.
No, well,
I don't understand why they couldn't have just said, you know what, we have decided we're done with being royal, we're fine, we're moving on from that, you go ahead and do it, you're doing a great job, we'll just go and make some Netflix documentaries, and we'll see you once a year for Christmas.
They did a kind of throwing grenade exit.
Yeah.
Like, just leave bodies in the street and go off.
Yes.
And what they could have done is just had a bit more respect, actually, ironically, for the privacy of their loved ones.
Yeah.
So you see, they would never ever do something straightforward, just come out right and say, you know what, Meghan hasn't got any faults in any of this. Her family have been selling her out. Her family have been making money with her name. Her family have been saying some of the worst things you could ever hear from anybody about her family member. Her family, her half-siblings have been so horrible to her. And yes, we understand why she would not be in contact with them. We understand why she would distance herself from them. We understand why she cut them off from her life. Like, who wants that sort of negativity, toxicity in their life? They will not do an interview saying the truth without snark, without being sarcastic or being nasty to Meghan. So they know these things about her. They know these things that her family members have been doing to her. She even mentioned that Mail have been printing and saying some of the worst things about Meghan and Harry as an example of why Meghan wouldn't want to have anything to do with the reporter or anyone who liaises with the reporter. So they know exactly what they've been doing. She lets out quite a lot of truths in that interview. Daily Mail on Sunday have been writing horrible things about Meghan and Harry. Thomas Markle, from the looks of things, has been the worst that anyone can have. Samantha and Thomas Jr. I saw a clip of Thomas Jr. in blackface mocking Meghan. That's a brother? How? I would literally, I don't even know what to do to somebody who does that to me. Not a friend, not even talk of a family member. So, yeah, they know these things. They know the attacks that Meghan has been facing. They even mentioned in their podcast, because like I said, I had to watch the entire thing. Ugh. They even mentioned the security situation where they were chased and all of that. And they obviously were very sarcastic about it. They mentioned Harry wanting security, and now, his case coming up again, and Home Office saying, all right, we'll review it and all of that, and saying, why does he think he needs as much security as the Queen and as Oprah and blah, 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 and how much the security costs and all of that stuff. How is any of your business how much his security costs? How is it any of your business why he needs security, why he thinks he needs security? You don't know the things he's seen, how Harry has assessed the risk to his life, his family's life, and the protection that they need. So who are you to say they don't need the security they think they need? It doesn't make any sense. So once again, these people cannot just do a show or talk or write articles that will just be completely, totally without negativity, criticism, lies, even a sprinkle of lies about Harry and Meghan. Obviously I wasn't fooled. I just needed to see for myself what Camilla T wasn't about, because I couldn't believe that she was saying anything positive, truthful about Meghan. I had to see for myself, and I was satisfied to see that yes, no, leopards do not change their spots. Camilla T hasn't changed. She has not suddenly become an honest, moralistic, good person. No. Anyway, guys, that's my take on it. I might do a longer video of this later on, but if you've enjoyed this, please again like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. We're here to debunk all the lies. I'll watch the shows and podcasts just for you, so you don't have to watch it yourselves. And yeah, I'm also on TikTok if you want to follow on there. I have short videos on there. And yeah, drop your comments. I read comments and I try to reply to all of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in my next video.